What's happening, guys? Will from revolutionarylifestyledesign.com coming to you today to talk about why you're not getting the results you want and what to do about it. And this is going to be something that's super important for you if you're struggling. If there's a couple areas that you might not have together, if there are some things that are bothering you on the path, or maybe you haven't even started the path. I want to give to you what has helped me over the past 13, 14 years of self-improvement, and some of the major obstacles that I had and some of the major things that I was doing wrong that hopefully you can avoid. Whether you're living in your mom's basement, you haven't even taken the first step towards getting things together, or you've taken the first step but you keep relapsing into bad habits, or maybe you've got a couple things together, but you're plateaued. You feel like you're spinning your wheels, or maybe even you're an advanced guy and you've got a lot of different areas, but you can't put all the pieces together. I've been in all those positions, and whatever your position in now, I guarantee you I've been in a worse place. I don't care how bad it is for you. If you saw how I was at 19, 20, depressed, pothead, complete disgrace, you probably wouldn't even be listening to any of the shit that I'm telling you or reading my articles. It was that bad. And I'm telling you with 100% confidence that wherever you are, you can make it out of there, and you can level up, you can get to a better place, whether you're intermediate, advanced, whether you're not even on the path. I promise you that these techniques are going to help get you unstuck, and it's going to clarify some of perhaps the mistakes that you're making, some of the blind spots that you can't see, because that's what a blind spot really is. You can't see what you don't know. And as someone who's been through it, I'm not saying I'm the best in the world at girls or business or fitness. In fact, I know that I'm not, but I'm at the point where I'm happy with where things are in my life. I'm at the point where I've hit a lot of the goals that I set out to do. Still more goals to be achieved, of course, but I'm pretty comfortable in my life right now. And I just want to give you a couple of things that have helped me, and I want to give you some of the major mistakes that I learned so that you can avoid them, and so that you can get the results you want, or at least know what needs to be done to get those results and decide if you still want them. So, first point is, here are the key factors, I guess, that I'm going to give you that are getting in the way of your success. And the first point is trying to sprint your way to success. This is something I used to do a lot. I'm the type of person to get very motivated, to get very hyped up about things. And I would start all of these crazy projects and crazy ideas and not follow through on any of them, because I was treating success like I treated a sprint. I was a sprinter back in the day, and I hated running long distance. I hated running cross country. I loved sprinting, and I just wanted to get hyped up and get everything done. And I was treating my personal development goals in the same way, when in fact it's the complete opposite. It's success is a marathon, not a sprint. Okay, in every major area, whether it's business or fitness or dating, you're looking at a 3 to 6 year process, and that's to get you to mastery. And that's only if you're following a good program and you're putting in every effort every single day. Okay, if you're advanced along the path, it might not be that much longer for you, but if you're just getting started, you're looking at 3 to 6 years to master any area, whether it's getting in shape, getting the body you want, getting the girls you want, getting a sustainable business. 3 to 6 years, that's what you're looking at. Okay, it's not about going to the gym for 2 weeks and killing yourself because you had a New Year's resolution and you're real motivated and you're going crazy on the squats so that you can't walk the next day. It's not about that. It's about having the same boring ass routine for the next 3 to 4 years, and just going in every week and trying to get stronger, trying to break your personal bests for that you hit the last week, and just doing that for the next 4 years. Okay, that's what's going to get you the result. Results happen from doing that boring shit day in, day out, just chugging along like you would a marathon. And you get the success when you keep going after everyone else drops out. Everyone else drops out halfway through the marathon. They get bored or they get too tired or they spent themselves too early off the start because they were sprinting. You're the guy who just keeps going and you just keep fucking showing up every day. You just keep showing up every day doing the boring ass technical shit on your website, doing the cold calls that you don't want to do, doing the same stuff that you have to do every day, and you just keep at it longer than everybody else. And that's what gets you to that finish line. That's going to get you across the finish line. Okay, sprinting right off the start, trying to win the race for the first 100 meters or whatever, that's what's going to get you tired and worn out halfway through. A lot of guys email me about, Will, how do I get motivation for this thing to happen? And what I tell them is motivation is not enough. Motivation is enough to get you started, but it's dedication that finishes the race, and dedication has to be a core character trait. You just have to decide to do it and then just do it. Just like, for me, going to the gym is like brushing my teeth. It's something that I have to do. For me, doing my 6-7 hours of work a day is just something that I have to do because I'm dedicated to it, and I do it when I'm not motivated. There are a lot of days I don't want to write articles or do some back-end shit or respond to emails, but that is part of my job, and that has to be done every day, and so it just gets done. And I think, okay, I do 3 hours of writing or a video, and then I go get to take a nice lunch or something like that. So I keep I keep myself motivated in that way, but it really isn't about the motivation. It's just getting done whether I feel like it or not. And that's those 3, 4, 5 years in, that's when you start getting paid in compound interest. Okay, that's when your money or your business or your body starts working for you. Okay, that's the point where your blog starts making passive income, or that's the point where you don't have to make cold calls anymore. You're getting your clients off of referrals, or you're just working with existing clients and you're making 6 figures because of all the work that you've done over that time. That's the point 3, 4, 5 years in where you can just coast, where you can go to the gym once a week and still maintain your gains with your body because you put the 3 to 4, 5 years in. And that's the key, is you got to get it to that stage, and that just takes time. Okay, it just takes time. Anything worthwhile takes time, because if it didn't, everyone would have it. If you could get an amazing body in like 2 weeks, every guy would be out there walking around jacked. Okay, remember that. Motivation is a luxury. It's terrific if you have it, but it's dedication that gets things done. It's consistency that gets things done. It's showing up every day that gets things done for 3, 4, 5, 6 years, whatever the fuck it takes. You do it every day and you make it happen. Number two point on why you're not getting the results you want is you're expecting extraordinary results from ordinary efforts. Let me say that again. You're expecting extraordinary results from ordinary efforts. Okay? The ordinary guy doesn't get the result he wants because he puts in ordinary efforts. If you want an extraordinary business or an extraordinary body, you need to put in extraordinary efforts, right? Sounds fucking obvious, right? Yet, most guys don't put in that extra effort. Whenever I get an email about someone who's struggling in something, the first thing I ask is how much effort you're putting in. That's the first thing that needs to be covered, okay? And the vast majority of the time, the guys aren't getting the results because they're just putting in just a regular amount or even less than a regular amount of effort. And my theory is not that these guys are dumb. My theory is that most guys don't actually know what extraordinary effort looks like. In my case, I didn't know. I always thought that I was a hard worker my whole life, but in reality, I was not working hard enough, okay? I didn't know what hard work was until I was doing my sales job 10 hours a day and then coming home and working on my business for 6 hours until I fucking passed out for years at a time. And multiple businesses, I was working on, not just one. I did not know what true hard work was like until I stepped it up to that level. And just to let you know, that is not even 100%. 100% is 18 hours a day, okay? Which is just enough time to shit, shower, and shave. If you want to be an investment banker, that's the kind of internship you have to put in as a rookie for a year or two. I don't know if you heard about this kid. He was working for Bank of America for 3 days straight. They had him working, and he ended up dying. And their response was to offer, they said that they're going to, from now on, they're limiting their interns to 17 hours a day, okay? They're limiting their days to 17 hours a day. That's what the fucking limit is for these guys, all right? That's what it takes to get into investment banking. That's the kind of effort you got to put in if you want that job, okay? Now, I'm not telling you to work 18 hours a day. In fact, I would tell you not to do that. I would tell you to stay far away from a kind of horrible workplace like that. But I just want you to know what 100% is. That's what it looks like, okay? 100% is 18 hours a day. So that 9 hours a day that you're working on your business, okay? If you're a sales guy, you're selling real estate, you're selling insurance, whatever, that's 50% of what you're capable of. 50%, okay? If that's getting you results, awesome. If you're getting the results you want and you're on your path to 6 figures and you're hitting your goals, awesome. Okay, that's terrific. But if it's not, then you either need to decide if this is what you really want, success in this area. If it is, then you need to step your game up, or you need to choose another path, because that's what it takes to get the results in that area. And I'm talking about actual work, okay? A lot of guys think reading about their industry or watching YouTube videos about how to sell or their industry or going to networking conferences is work. That's not work. That's fucking entertainment. The work is being on the phone selling, or doing shit for your website, or getting your industry designation that you need to, get certified or whatever. That's the actual work. Chances are, if it's something like fun that you're looking forward to, like going to a conference, then it's not work. Work is the shit like, I got to do this fucking project on my website or whatever. That's when you know that you're working, when you're just doing stuff that is work, not that's why they call it fucking work, not fun, happy time. That's when you're doing real work. So 9 hours is 50% of what you're capable of, okay? Take any area you're struggling in, and I would bet money you're probably putting in ordinary effort. The average guy is going in and doing 8 hours of work a day for 5 days a week. That's what average is. That's what the average person is doing, okay? And right now I'm doing maybe 6 to 7 hours, not 5 days a week, close to 6 or 7 days a week. And that's because I put in a lot of work before that. But you can start coasting and start lowering your hours as time moves on. Absolutely, you should. But if you want to get past that, that plateau or that sticking point, then you have to do what it takes. You have to say, okay, 9 hours isn't working. All right, let's kick it up to 11 hours or 12 hours or 14 hours. All right, this is what the average guy's doing. I'm going to fucking double what he's doing and see what happens, right? And I guarantee you will get better results. That is, if there's one thing, if that is like the first line of defense, if you're not getting the results you want, is increasing the amount of output. That will 100% increase your results is by working harder, okay? You can't just go in the gym and expect to put 20 pounds on, you're doing what the average guy does. You gotta go in every set and give 100%. You gotta lift to fatigue to where you can't move the fucking bar anymore and the bar's coming back down against you. That's what it takes to get over that plateau. Once you start hitting those lifts that you can't get any, you think you can't get any stronger, okay, well, you just gotta go in and give it, 110%. Right? You got to do what the average guy won't do. You got to put yourself through that pain and push past it. If 100 cold calls a day isn't making it happen, then 200, 300, 400, 500, right? When you read The Wolf of Wall Street, now those guys are complete unethical animals, but they were doing the 600 cold calls a day. Like they, that's what a stockbroker used to be, or at least, for the first year, you're the appointment setter. They got you doing 600 cold calls a day till you can't walk. I used to work in a call center doing 400, and I would fucking stagger out of the place at the end of the day, barely being able to see. But that gets results. So if you're not willing to do that, okay, I get it. There's a reason I have a product-based business and not a service-based business. I didn't want to do cold calls anymore. If there's a personal hell, for me, it would be 600 cold calls a day and watching YouTube videos of myself on constant repeat, right? Those are two things I do not want to do. But that's not the fucking point, okay? The point is, what the problem is. The point is, I've identified the problem for you, and you can adjust your goals accordingly, okay? If you don't want to put in that effort, then maybe you got to adjust your financial goal for the year. Or maybe you have to say, this isn't the right industry for me, and I want to do something else. Maybe money isn't even the thing for you. Maybe you want to be a painter or an artist or a Buddhist monk, whatever it is, you got to adjust accordingly. But the point I'm trying to get to you is that I'm trying to explain what extraordinary effort really looks like. And this goes for any area, from the gym to dating. Anything that I had that I've been successful with is because I just did way more than everyone else. I studied more about it. I read more about it. I've read every book on dating. From 2006 to 2008, I read every forum post on dating. I read everything available. I read everything on fitness until I found Arthur Jones and One Set Training. I've read everything on business. Hours and hours and hours of reading, and then research and putting it into practice, finding what doesn't work, finding what works, putting in the effort. There's no way around that. Hopefully, if you read my site, a lot of the stuff I've laid out for you and that works for you. But even with my shit, you can discard that if it doesn't work. The key is, if you want the extraordinary result, you got to put in the extraordinary effort. If you decide that the reward or the effort is too much for the reward, that's okay. It's okay to change your goal and lower your goal, or change the industry entirely. But just recognize that if you do have a big goal, it is going to take a big amount of effort to get that. And you got to understand, if it's going to be worth it for you, that's what you have to do to get across the finish line. Number 3 reason for why you're not getting the results that you want is having unrealistic expectations, okay? And this is super, super important. Unrealistic expectations have cost me more time and money than anything else in my life. Guaranteed 100%. When I crawled my way out of a very severe depression at 20, I did so with a giant fucking binder of goals and things that I wanted to do on an incredibly unrealistic and unsustainable timeline. Okay, this was before smartphones. So all I had to organize this shit was this giant fucking binder. And needless to say, I accomplished absolutely none of the things in that binder because I had incredibly outrageous, aggressive goals on an insanely close and impossible timeline with absolutely no room for any kind of leisure. It was the most reactionary way out of a depression, from this complete depression to, okay, I'm going to become this absolute workaholic and I'm going to do nothing but achieve these goals, and I'm going to do it on these unrelenting standards. And of course, the only thing I accomplished was not hitting them and beating myself up for being a failure. All right. But that initial momentum, and that was my first step on the path towards self-improvement. And that first step is the where I am today is a direct result of that first step. Okay. It was just a matter of refining my expectations down to what's reasonable and what I can accomplish, and to the point of now where it's rare for me to fail at things because I've got my expectations down to such a razor sharp level where I know what I'm capable of, I know how much time I have in the day, I know how much energy I have, and I've learned so much from all those previous failures. Okay, I've treated those failures as feedback, and if there's one thing that I've done is learn from my experiences, and I tend not to make the same mistake twice. You know, but one thing to be said, and this is very important about unrealistic expectations, is the most important thing is you need to have accurate thinking, okay? When you have unrealistic expectations, your thinking is inaccurate. And if you're putting in the effort and you're putting the time in every day, you still might not be succeeding because you have unrealistic expectations and you have an inaccurate thinking process, okay? You have to have accurate thinking, and you have to understand your goals with a clear head and a detailed linear process for achieving them, okay? Every major decision you make should go through like a rigorous reality check, okay? So let me give you an example of what the realistic expectations look like. For, let's say you want to start a new business venture. Here are just some of the questions that you need to ask yourself. Is this possible? Who's excelled at this, and how can I model them? How much does the best guy in the industry make? How much does the average guy make? What's the timeline for success? How many hours per day are going to be required to make this happen? Do I have the skill set to make this happen, or is this outside of my limitations? What are my odds of success? Am I passionate enough about this industry to make this, a lifelong pursuit? What's the worst case scenario? Will this put me into debt? Is this worth the opportunity cost of not pursuing something else? What's my exit plan? Okay, these are all the reality check questions that you got to ask yourself before you take something on, right? There's a reason I'm not trying to be a billionaire, because it is not going to fucking happen for me. The reason I'm not trying to make $100 million is that's not going to happen for me either. I have to learn what's in my capabilities, okay? You have to learn what's in your capabilities. If you have the brain of a Mark Zuckerberg, well, then maybe the tech billionaire is in your wheelhouse. For me, I know that playing a fullback in the NFL, being a fullback in the NFL is outside of my limitations. Being a tech billionaire is outside of my limitations. But a results-based personal development company with ethics and with high-quality products where I can make six figures is 100% within my limitations, at least as far as I'm concerned. You guys can be the judge of whether you think that I'm capable of that and of the judge of my business. But at the end of the day, I have belief in that, because health, wealth, and relationships is stuff that I've been aggressively interested in for the last 13 years. I live it. I breathe it. I'm passionate about it. I love what I do. I feel like I can write. I feel like I can speak to you guys. I can be engaging. I can present when I get to the point where I do speaking tours and things like that. All my instincts tell me this is possible. And over the last 4 years, I've built a business that's sustaining me and have verified to me that this is possible. But that's come as a result of all these other business failures that I had in the past. I was able to get rid of those unrealistic expectations and generate realistic expectations and accurate thinking, and that's led to success. It's led to success with women. It's led to success in fitness. It's led to success in coming out of being a depressed person to someone who's happy and satisfied with their life. It leads to success in all types of different relationships with people, all these different things, success in my sales career, whatever it is. All that comes from realistic thinking and accurate thinking and realistic expectations. So let me give you some quick examples for your yearly goals. If you've read my article, which I strongly suggest, How to Get Your Life Together, I talk about you need 4 yearly goals per year in order of importance, starting with wealth, health, lifestyle, and finally relationships, with wealth being the number one most important. Let me give you some examples for your yearly goals. 10 pounds of muscle, okay? For 2016, you want to put on 10 pounds of muscle. You want to have sex with 10 new girls in your league, which is like 1 girl per month, even less than that actually. And you want to add $20,000 in extra income to your current income. Okay, that if you put in effort and you have realistic expectations, those three things are 100% possible. Okay, this is 100% possible. This is stuff within your reality if you want it. Okay, maybe 10 pounds of muscle or $20,000 in extra income doesn't sound that exciting to you right now if you have a high bar. Okay, and I get it. Patience is not one of my virtues either. But 5 years from now, okay, that's 50 pounds of muscle. That's 50 girls that you've had sex with, and that's another $100,000 in extra income. Okay, you put those all together, that's serious results. And that's just from doing realistic expectations and making them happen every single year, right? Being on that marathon to success. Okay? That's the power of realistic expectations. I would rather to hear you guys set lower goals that you knock out of the park than these crazy goals like I'm going to be a billionaire. Whenever I hear guys tell me that shit, I know that they're not serious. You know, the seriousness comes from having the shit kicked out of you. Okay, and I don't want you to have to go through getting the shit kicked out of you. I want you to be on the path from the start. Okay, I want you. Okay, like look, I'm not telling you not to aim to be a millionaire, but aim for 6 figures before that. Okay, you got to walk before you can run. Aim for 6 figures, and once you hit 6 figures, aim to do 250. And if you do 250, aim for 400. 2-3 years down the road. Okay, you know you got to have that reality check for everything, and you got to be on the path to realistic expectations, because otherwise you're a fucking dreamer, and if you're a dreamer, you're not going to succeed in reality. The only place that a dreamer succeeds is in his fucking dreams. And there's a whole industry built around catering to guys like that. I see these self-improvement seminars all over the place. If you want to go to a self-improvement seminar, that's great. But a lot of these guys are like addicted to these seminars, and they're just going and they're just getting pimped on for 3 days, and they just go and they get super motivated and they get super hyped up. But in reality, then they come out of it with these crazy expectations for what's possible. And not everything's possible for everyone, right? Not everyone can be, this crazy success. So you got to look at what's possible for you and what caters to your skill set. Maybe you're a math and science guy and you can make it happen that way, or you got the personality, you can make it happen in sales. Or maybe you can be that tech billionaire if you have 160 IQ and you can program crazy things. But you got to recognize your expectations, and you got to have, you got to recognize your limitations and have expectations that are in line with reality. And you got to do a serious reality check before you start any major venture. And because otherwise, if you don't do that, it could be 2 or 3 years down the road of dreaming and putting all your time into something that wasn't possible in the first place. And all this heartache, all this failure could have been avoided if you've done the proper reality check. Okay, and I'm talking to you from previous painful experience. A lot of things. I have a lot of failures that didn't need to happen if I would have followed, or if I would have even known about how to do a proper reality check. So you really, really got to do that. Okay, number 4, and this is the final point on why you're not getting the results you want. And this is the most important one, okay? This is one that I want you guys to listen to, and if you have to listen to it 3 or 4 times, it's really, really important that this one sinks in. Okay, number 4, reason why you're not getting the results you want is not knowing the real result that you really want. Let me say that again. You're not getting the result you want because you don't actually know what you really want. Okay? At the end of the day, whether you know it or not, the real result you're chasing is happiness. Happiness is what we're doing all this shit for, okay? The money, the girls, the business, it's all to feel good. When you picture that business success or that new girlfriend or that $10 million in the bank, all of that is because it makes you feel good to think about it. And if you receive $10 million, it would make you feel good to get it. Okay, but you are choosing to feel good, right? You are choosing to link your good feeling to this particular thing, okay? It's just like buying a new pair of jeans might make you feel good because you have more self-esteem, or whatever it is, you are choosing to be happy about that, okay? And there is no such thing as an objective reality. Everyone has different things that make them happy, right? For example, playing video games, you might choose to do that because it makes you happy, but your girlfriend might think it's the stupidest thing in the world and can't understand why you do that, why you would choose to link your happiness to something that's so silly as a video game, okay? The point I'm trying to get across is you're in control of your happiness and your state all the time, right? The women, the business, the fitness, those are the means to the end, but the end is happiness, okay? All that shit is the means to the end. So many guys in the self-improvement world get the means confused with the end, and for the longest time I did. For the longest time, I would only allow myself to be happy if I hit X goal, and I would beat the shit out of myself if I didn't. I didn't go hard enough in the fucking gym today. This is unacceptable. And the end result is that I was unhappy all the fucking time, except in the rare cases where I hit these lofty goals. And even then, when I hit the goal, it was like I'd be thinking about the next thing that I have to do, and I would say, okay, don't get too happy because we still got a lot more work to do. And I lived like that for years. If you have a harsh inner critic like I did, it is going to be very difficult for you to be happy because you're always linking your happiness to X, okay? I only allow myself to be happy if I make 6 figures. I only allow myself to be happy if once I get to 50 pounds of muscle and under 10% body fat. And I'm a worthless piece of shit if I don't. I'm just like every other loser out there. And you hate everybody else and you hate yourself. A vast majority of guys who are hardcore into self-improvement are coming from a place of self-hatred, and I'm speaking to you from 100% experience. I did not like who I was at 20, and my idea was to change myself, and that is the right idea, okay? If you're not happy with your life, changing for the positive is the right way to go. But you also have to accept who you are and where you are and accept your limitations, okay? You can't go through life abusing yourself. And a lot of the abuse and a lot of that harsh inner critic comes from your parents because someone was really hard on you your whole life. You've internalized that, and that's how you talk to yourself. And it was 100% the same with me. You need to talk to yourself as if you were a good friend, and you would never talk to someone as one of your good friends or maybe one of your clients and say, and they're coming to you and they're not hitting their goals and they're saying, what do? You would never tell them, well, you're a worthless piece of shit. You don't deserve to hit your goals anyways. You're lazy. You're no fucking good. This is an insane way to talk to someone, and it's an insane way to talk to yourself, and it's just, that has to be just unacceptable to you. You have to be happy within yourself now, okay? Because the present moment is the only moment that exists. You can't say, okay, I'm going to whip myself for the next 7 years and I'm only going to be happy once this goal is accomplished. That is no way to live, because there's no other moment than now, right? You need to, it's fantastic to have a great goal and to have a process for hitting that, but you need to enjoy the journey, because being a millionaire or getting the body you want, what if that takes you 5 or 10 years? Are you just going to whip yourself and be miserable for the next 10 years? If you're a 22-year-old guy, are you going to go through your whole 20s just being miserable because you don't have the things, this arbitrary goal that you set out, that you decided on? You're just going to whip yourself? No, you got to learn to be happy now, and happiness is a skill, okay? And I'm not telling you, I'm not talking out of my ass here. The last year, the happiest moments I've had were on my motorbike, driving through the mountains here in Thailand, and just having my headphones on, listening to music that I love, observing nature, and with the sunshine pouring in, just sort of like, can't believe this is my life. Just, I'm thinking about all the other people all the guys I worked with who are still working in the office, and I'm thinking to myself, I just can't believe that I made this happen and that this is a reality. And I'm just observing the beauty of nature, and this is something that costs absolutely no money. Had nothing to do with business or any type of goal, anything that I was working on. I just being in the fucking present moment and just linking my happiness to, my love of the universe at that particular time. And, if you read about this guy, Mathieu Ricard, he's a Buddhist monk. He's measured, they set him up on machines and measured his brain waves and neurotransmitters, and they said they're the highest and happiest that they've ever measured. And this is a guy who hasn't seen pussy since he came out of one. He's been a Buddhist monk since he was 18, and he lives in the Himalayas meditating and doing compassionate things all day, okay? And this guy's happier than anyone else they've ever studied because he's learned the skill of happiness. He's learned to generate that every single day. He's learned to link happiness to all these different simple things. The more simple things you can link happiness to, whether it's a hot shower or being grateful for a good meal or, for having good friends or whatever it is, the more of these positive states you can generate, the more things you can attach happiness to, or even if you can just attach happiness to like an outward love of the universe or to God or whatever it is, the happier you're going to be. And that is a fucking result you want, okay? The title of this article and this video is why you're not getting the results you want. The result you want is happiness. And if you're not getting it, it's because you are not actively practicing the art of happiness. You're practicing the art of self-hatred until you hit an arbitrary goal that you've set because you've determined yourself as fundamentally worthless. Okay, and that is a fucked up way to go through life. I wasted so many years of my 20s living like that, and I'm telling you guys, it's not the way to live. In a lot of these men's sites, that I guess I'm a part of, although not so much these days, guys promote this to you, and it is a completely toxic way to live. You've got to put happiness as your first priority. Happiness now and happiness in the future, okay? And a lot of you guys think that the only way to hit a goal is through that negative motivation and just whipping yourself to death. It's not true. You can link all those goals to pleasure. You can link going to the gym to, I'm going to go to the gym because I know after I'm going to the gym, I'm going to feel terrific. I'm going to have my endorphins going. I'm going to have my key neurotransmitters pumping. I'm going to have the blood flowing, and I'm going to feel great. You can link your business goals to pleasure. You can link cold calling to, okay, that's going to get me that much closer to X amount of dollars. That's going to get me that much closer to, buying whatever you want or putting this in my savings account. You can link all this stuff to positive motivation, and you can treat failure as feedback. You can reframe everything. You're in control of your happiness at every single moment of the day, and you're in control of that skill of happiness, okay? And as far as I'm concerned, being in a consistently happy state is the only measurement of success, okay? Let me say that again. Being in a consistently happy state is the only measurement of success, okay? If you're a consistently happy guy and you're less successful than I am, you're in the outward stand of the world, that doesn't mean anything. If you're a consistently happy guy, I want to learn from you and be like you, okay? That is the fucking metric of a fulfilling life, is consistent happiness. I look around in Thailand and I see people who have no money by our Western standards, but everyone here is fucking happy. They're walking around with a smile on their face. They're walking around with soft eyes. They're not trying to, always just like be something they're not. They're just like living in the moment and being happy. If you're not getting the result you want, you're chasing the wrong result. You are chasing the means, not the end, okay? When you should be chasing the end, which is happiness, all right? And if that means that you need to set lower goals, if that means you need to set different goals, if that means you need to chase your dream of becoming a musician and playing music makes you happy even though it doesn't make a ton of money, then fucking do that, okay? Do what makes you happy, because that is the fucking point of life, okay? The point of life and a well-lived life is a life of consistent happiness. If you're not consistently happy, you need to do a major fucking overhaul an inventory of everything that's not making you happy, and you need to weed out all the things that you're doing to yourself that are making you unhappy, because that's what it's all about. Okay, if I'm telling you to stay on the self-improvement journey, but do it from a place of positivity, and do it from a place where you're accepting the guy as you are. Maybe you're a little overweight, maybe you haven't had a ton of success with women. Whatever it is, that's okay. You're okay as is, and you need to give yourself permission to be happy as is, and then look at all the other things that you accomplish as a bonus, right? When you become happy as is, and then you get a great girlfriend, that's like that's the cherry on top of your cake. You're already happy, and now you're even happier because you've got this great result in your life. Okay, that's how you have to look at these achievements. And when you don't achieve, you say, okay, that's all right. I'm going to treat this as feedback. What am I going to learn from that? And I'm going to be able to reframe that for something positive and for more of an achievement in the future. Okay, that's by far the most important point on this list of why you're not getting the results you want, is because you don't know the result you want. You got to know the result you want is happiness, and you got to work everything around to that, as opposed to working everything towards these arbitrary goals that you set that aren't making you happy. If your goals aren't making you happy, you got to change your goals, or you got to learn how to link pleasure to all those little tiny victories that you hit every day to achieve that 5, 6, 7-year goal. All right? So that's it. Conclusions are, you've got the keys, you know what to do. Now it's time to take action and put them into practice. This stuff is all terrific, but if you don't apply this to your life, then it's useless, okay? I hate when guys use my site as entertainment. I'm not an entertainer. I want to make practical changes in your life, and I'm so excited about this stuff. I just want you to use it, okay? I just want you, the vast majority of stuff on my site is free. Just use it, okay? Just use it, make yourself happy, make your life better, and put it into practice, because now that you know what to do, what to get through the sticking points are, you've got no excuse. And what I want you to do when you turn the video off or turn the audio off or you finish the article is go through right now while everything's fresh and do the full inventory on your life, okay? Get all this stuff together so that you can start making yourself happier and you can start getting the results you want in your life. That's it, guys. As always, I want to thank you for watching this on YouTube. I want to thank you for listening, whether it's on SoundCloud or iTunes. And I want to thank you for reading the article. And I wish you all the best in your personal development journey.